You don't have to. I'll do a staff presentation, just giving a overview of the site plan. Usually keep it pretty minimal. So when I'm done, Megan will ask if someone representing the applicant, whether that's you or Christy or whoever wants to talk, and then
Christy will be here.
yeah, then you can speak however much you want to, and
I don't want to
ask some questions. So yeah. We usually try to keep things pretty simple. So
I sit on the Des Moines Urban Sign Review Board.
oh yeah.
Sometimes
Oh, I know.
people will talk for 45 minutes and then
That's government working against people in my mind. Just the fact that we have to go that extra mile to scrutinize everything. It's like we just let people build stuff, please, you know. But right, Ryan? Might be down Elizabeth tonight.
Okay,
She emailed me about one of the rescheduled dates that wasn't going to be ideal. So
sure.
FYI.
Howdy, how's it going?
How are you? Always a little bit of a pain, I know.
I told you I have a key that I had to sign it up.
So that's the consent.
Okay. This is it. Oh. What's
Word adjustment. Not. Thank you. Oh, he's okay. Yeah.
You don't usually park there.
Just kidding. I figured that was you last month.
You know, I fancy myself a part-time walker, George, so I try to walk the walk as
You should get a special parking spot.
I agree. Well, you know, I would use the bike rack, but my bike doesn't fit on it. I legitimately can't chain up to that thing. Yeah, because I try to go through both wheels with the cable. I can't get it to.
Oh.
I need a longer cable.
Yeah.
Instead of taking your spot, I could just buy an 8-foot cable. Problem solved.
I mean.
If that was in a parking garage, it'd be $33,000.
There you go, exactly. You put a $20 cable in the wellness budget, right? You have like the frequent flyer. Man, it was dead quiet in here till about a minute ago.
My involvement is not very changed for a moment.
We're still in.
And, I finished.
That's kind of scary.
I would think so. We're playing with weird soccer.
Hillary, we have Carson on Zoom.
It's like on soccer,
Thanks.
like opposing player would clear the ball and it's like, get an initial read, snap and step back.
When I.
There's a whole like protocol. You found it.
Like, took him to the.
Well, no, we got that. Look for will be clear on to.
Literally. Next time you need that, like.
Oh, yeah.
It's this whole story. But I was all, like, I didn't want to get it. People did. Pretty damn good, but like, I don't know, but like. But I'm just, I don't working hard. So, you know.
That's the key.
Six, yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like. So.
Did you read?
Yeah.
No, that's why. One of my friends, she did written. That's good. She's like, she's like,
Vision.
I mean, they did everything they touched on. All of it, so I mean.
Elements of
it
it.
would- Sure.
I was concerned about a project at home I'm getting ready to work on, so I finally, this is expanding to a point, I think I need to go check out, see if I build the building. So thankfully I did, I do need
You
a
do,
small version for the
right?
driveway, it's like a
Like an approach.
Yeah, or Luke said it was $30,
Yeah,
something about checking the
pretty minimal.
pre forms or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not the same. This whole town, it's like, because I grew up in a small town, it's like, only, but.
Boom.
You know, you tell everybody, it's like. It's nice, you know. But you get to stop it now.
It's actually over there.
We got too many, we have too many pairs, but.
You can be whoever you want to be
Yeah.
tonight.
All good technology wise,
Yep, we're all set now.
there's ready. I will now call to order the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting of March 5th, 2025. Time is 5:46 PM. Hillary, would you call the roll, please?
Eaton,
Present.
Hinders, Thompson, Steiger, Samuelson,
Here.
Force,
Present.
Reaganitor.
Here. Item number 3 is the approval of tonight's agenda. Any changes to the agenda for this evening? Hearing nothing, I would entertain a motion and a second to approve tonight's agenda.
Samuelson, a motion.
Eden second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item number 4 is the approval of the April 28th, 2025 minutes. Any changes to those minutes? Hearing nothing, I'll entertain a motion to approve the April 28th, 2025 minutes. And a second, please.
Eden motion.
Samuelson, a second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. I'd like to welcome all the guests that have joined us here in person tonight, and those on the Zoom. If there are any members of the public in the in-person audience tonight who would like to make a comment on an item that is not on tonight's agenda, the time for that is now. Hearing nothing, we'll move on to our first substantive item. Item number 6 is a request from NKCC Holdings LLC for approval of the site plan of DeJoseph Mixed Use. Elliot, would you brief us on this item, please?
Yep, so this site plan is directly across the street from City Hall, pretty much on the southwest corner of North Avenue in Jackson. And this is a redevelopment project we had rezoning to go through a number of months ago to go from RF Founders Residential to C4. The C4 district is kind of that classic Main Street zoning that allows commercial on the bottom with residential upstairs. And so that's one of the things we kind of consulted with the applicants on potentially doing. And that's what they've produced. So the site plan here has 2 commercial suites on the ground floor, which the applicant is going to be operating a branch of her business out of, as well as 3 apartments on the upper story. All within a lot that had one single family house at one time. So it's exciting to see that much activity on one site. There's some right-of-way improvements that are being done in adjacency to this, like on an undeveloped parcel when a house or a business builds out, sidewalk gets installed in the right-of-way. So that's being upgraded here, along with accesses directly to the building itself from that sidewalk. So that's kind of the site plan in a nutshell. We do have some folks here representing the firm. Floor plans also included, so on that ground floor, the white box area is the secondary commercial suite, which will be designed as far as layout goes at a later point. And then the upstairs lays out like this with that stairwell in the middle. So that's about all I have. As I said, we have the architect and applicant here tonight. If there are questions or comments from them.
Would the applicant or the applicant's representative like to make a comment on item number 6? We just need your name and your address, please.
Perfect. Good evening. Thanks for visiting with us tonight. I am Christy DeJoseph, owner in KCC Holdings LLC. Address in Norwalk, 2060 Dorchester Circle. And this is our building. This is our dream. It's what's happening across the street. So we're pretty excited. It's been a year plus in progress. And yeah, we're here for questions or anything that may need to be done, but I'm going to be occupying the lower left commercial space with my business. And then as Elliot said, yep, residential spaces and another commercial space open as well. So we appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Steve Wilkie Shapiro, Sequel Architecture, 2513 Woodland in Des Moines. We've been working with the applicant for some time now to develop this design. I think you've seen it before or seen like the early renderings. Obviously, there are some challenges developing a site like this, and we are kind of asking for some understanding on a few elements. Fundamentally, though, I think what we've come up with kind of genuinely represents a sort of traditional mixed use development, helps to extend the walkable district. And if you have any questions on what you see, I'm also available to answer questions.
Great. Thank you so much. I think one of the things that the staff report highlighted was the parking. And I didn't have any concerns based on what you pointed out, you know, that the off-street parking that is available in addition to the spots that are included within the site plan.
Yeah, so one of the things I had Steve put on the submittal was just kind of a radius depicting, you know, a general range for where the street parking adjacent to this comes from, and within 150 feet, there's about 8 street spots available. Adjacent 3 on Jackson Street to this lot, and then the ones that I see sit empty all day,
Yeah.
every day outside my office. So I think that's a good reason to consider those usable by people patronizing this building or Harvey's. You know, time to time people come in and park there to get auto parts and whatnot, but most of the time I think it's an underutilized asset that the city has. So yeah, that's the purpose for pointing that out in the report.
Yeah, I was really excited to see this, you know, very traditional mixed use. In a space that is just so, you know, it would be hard to find a use for what was there. And so I commend you all for the work that you put into that. I was very excited to see this come through. Thank you.
Yeah, I love the design as well. My only question as well was regarding parking. And with the units, is there consideration for designating those parking spaces for the units upstairs for renters, or?
You want to answer that? Or either way.
Yeah, so the underlying intent would be that the residents each have designated parking spots, and that for the most part, the business entry is located facing the street. And so the intent there would be that visitors to the 2 business spaces would primarily use street parking.
Great. Naturally, during the day, if folks that live here are out doing their thing, it's well within the property owners' right to open that up to business access on a routine basis. They'll be, you know, that'll be an option for them too,
Makes it more attractive if I'm living there to have a spot, so
for sure.
Right, yeah.
that's the only reason I asked the question.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, one additional thought there is that the accessible parking is in the back and there's an accessible route from that to the front entries.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments from the commission on this site plan?
That stair going down, Steve, I'm assuming, on that corner.
Yeah.
That's exterior stairs going down, right?
Yes, from the corner coming down, there's about a 4-foot elevation change. So there's stairs coming down, but then the public right of way, the public sidewalk would be reconstructed across at the street elevation.
Because your finished floor is more or less where your accessible route on the north side is probably. Okay.
Any other questions or deliberation? Hearing nothing, I would entertain a motion to approve the site plan of the Joseph mixed use.
Need motions.
Samuelson will second.
Hillary, would you call the roll, please?
Samuelson,
Aye.
Forrest,
Aye.
Eaton,
Aye.
Reginator.
Aye. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Item number 7 is a request from Diligent HCC LLC for approval of the amended final plat of Hughes Century Crossing Plat 10. Elliot, would you brief us on this item, please?
Yep, so this is coming back to you guys, mostly for procedural reasons. We found out kind of late in the game when this was going through the first time that the plat that got approved by city council had an easement on it that wasn't within the proprietor's capacity to grant.
Oh,
And so this plat, it's the one that got recorded at the county, from a staff / city perspective. We consulted Jim on it too. He doesn't have a problem with us taking this back through P&Z and council, as recorded. So, basically the change that got made was, we had them asked them to get an ingress egress easement on the south side of lot 2. They were not able to secure that easement, because of development agreements. So while council approved a plat containing that easement, it wasn't within their power. So this is what ended up getting approved, and it is related to the next agenda item. As I mentioned, I don't think staff had any heartache with this, and it helps accommodate the forthcoming site plan following this item. So happy to take any further questions to the best of my ability.
Is there a representative of the applicant or the applicant here tonight that would like to make a comment on this item?
I'm here, I can answer questions if you need it, but we agree with staff's
Sure.
comments.
Thank you. Seems like it's just fixing something that's necessary procedurally. Any other deliberation or comment from the commission? Hearing nothing, I would entertain a motion to approve the amended final plat of Hughes Century Crossing Plat 10.
Samuelson will motion.
Second.
Forrest a second.
Hillary, would you call the roll, please?
Samuelson,
Aye.
Forrest,
Aye.
Eaton,
Aye.
Reginator.
Aye. Thank you. Item number 8 is a request from Hyper Energy Bar LLC for approval of the site plan of Hyper Energy Bar. Elliot, would you brief us on this item, please?
Yep, so if this one sounds familiar, it's because it's a revised site plan. I kind of did my best to update some of the changes in the general description here. Pretty much everything else stayed the same. A couple things in there that are of particular note. The applicants have decided to go with a bigger building. So initially they had one that was, I think, closer to, I forget the exact number, 15, 14 feet in width. This one's 21 feet in width. Couple of reasons for that. One, by coming back to you guys, gave them an opportunity to rethink which physical building they wanted. As part of our discussions with them, emphasizing the notion that walk-up traffic might be a good thing to accommodate here. They've found that in their business operations, having the wider building is better for having walk-up traffic, just because more people go to that side naturally rather than gravitating towards one of the drive-up windows, which we've heard happens at times. The other part is kind of related to the previous item with the plat. So one of the things that we were trying to aim for with the platting process here was to get 2 shared driveways, mostly so that there were only 2 curb cuts in the road. I think having only 2 driveways was not quite as important, but just because of that easement that I was mentioning about plat 10 of Hughes, since that wasn't secured, they had to split it up with a median, and this is kind of a midpoint from where we wanted to end up based on how the conversations went with Hyper and with the adjacent property owner. So their site plan is forthcoming to the south at some point, and this just goes in where their access would be separated by that median, which got the sign off from Tony Belizzi, our city engineer. Yeah, those are the 2 primary changes. Everything else is pretty much the same: queuing length, neck down width, etc. So I'll answer any questions that I can. We do have a representative from the project here tonight with us as well.
Would the applicant or the applicant's representative like to make a comment on item number 8? I saw the Hyper Energy Bar in Ankeny after the last time this was before us. The layout made a lot more sense to me after I saw it in person.
And I think I forgot to put the elevations in the staff report. I can pull those up real quick for a visual.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. The walk-up window reminded me of like a beadbox situation, so it made sense to me that they wanted to kind of expand the frontage. To, like Elliot said, to get people more touch points to get in there, instead of just, I think, that one place in the last rendering that we saw. It's too bad that they couldn't come to an agreement about that access, but there's not a lot we can do about that.
George, you have a question?
Yeah, a little bit of a question, or maybe more of a comment. It doesn't really have anything to do with the site plans. But I think these are going to be very popular with all those kids that are on the other side playing whatever they're doing, soccer, baseball, what have you, basketball. I'm just a little more concerned with having a nice walkway because of the traffic that's going to be on that road, so those kids can get across there safely, as opposed to bolting across the street to try to get over there.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, nothing to do with the site plan. That, and my other question is, so the lots are taken, there's still some land to the west, and the sidewalk kind of stops up toward the north. You can see right there. And that, or bike trail, I should say, maybe.
Yep.
That will we continue that on, or who's responsible for doing that? And when will it be done? Because you'll have people walking in from that side as well.
Sure. Luke, do you remember where we left off with Wayne and Tony on that?
I feel I can double check with Wayne and let you know, George. I think we might be doing it as part of the Cherry project that we're doing right now.
Oh, okay.
I'll double check that though, but it's weird because on the beacon that Elliot has shown, like the hyper lot and the lot to the north technically don't front to that area, so they're not required to put that in. There's these two little triangle pieces. I think actually Diligent does own that piece, so we could go to Diligent and have them contribute for that piece. The triangle is owned actually by the guy that owns the post office lot.
Yeah.
So it's a weird deal going on there.
It's a little too late to ask him to
I
do
don't know if we're gonna assess them for that cost, or I'm not sure exactly what's going on. I think that's what's happening though, but I'll check with Wayne tomorrow and let you know.
I assume that's not buildable. That's
No.
Yeah, okay. All right. That's it. That was just my two things.
Any other questions or deliberation from the commission on this item? Hearing nothing, I would entertain a motion to approve the site plan of Hyper Energy Park.
Emotions.
Samuelson will second.
Hillary, would you call the roll, please?
Forrest,
Aye.
Eaton,
Aye.
Samuelson,
Aye.
Reginator.
Aye. Thank you. Item number 9 is a city council update from George. Anything for us tonight?
No, let's leave it at that. Yeah.
We did just see each other last week, so.
Yes.
I don't think Holly's joined us tonight. Luke, any community development update for us?
Nothing new in the last week.
Oh. Elliot, anything new?
Thanks for pivoting on the schedule. We were gonna miss the next council meeting by 3 weeks if we didn't move meetings up. Time to start digging is now, while the ground is nice and soft. Next meeting date. I'm not certain if I have any items or not.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna have some items by then. But yeah, I guess I'll update you if I find out. So, oh, I sent you guys an email on a personal note end of last week, I think, related to a little event that I've arranged at Varsity Cinema. So you can take that as a formal invite if you feel like spending your Saturday afternoon with listening to me gab more. So yeah, that's it.
I took my wife to the varsity for our first date.
Yeah.
Watched Citizen Kane.
Back in, well,
Way
I won't
back
say
when.
the-
That wasn't not the original. It was rerun from
Not in
the
30s.
All right, so Elliot will let us know if our next meeting will be May 19th, 2025 at 5:45 PM. And I will entertain a motion and a second to adjourn.
Samuelson motion.
Eaton second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned at 6:08 PM. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Carson.
Thanks everyone on Zoom, especially Carson. We got
Thanks.
Hey,